heard of the generic phrase, every year, time just seems to fly faster and faster. And it's true. As kids, the feeling of boredom was very prominent, as the days seemed to stretch on, and we could only get as busy as kids could get. It was as if we had all the time in the world. But then, we grow up. And we're tossed into this busy, vibrant world, and suddenly time moves too fast, and we often forget about the childhood that we once cherished. So, why do I bring this up? Well, first off, what do you think of when boredom is mentioned? Is it doing absolutely nothing? Is it scrolling on your phone? Is it playing video games? Is it falling asleep in a teacher's class? Whatever it is to you, boredom affects everyone, from not just yourself, but how you interact with others and even the future generations. But as a result, we're seeing this trend of boredom having this negative connotation, because by definition, when we're bored, we aren't doing anything, or our brain does not perceive our surroundings to be interesting or important. But especially as high schoolers, we rarely even allow ourselves to feel bored, as we're constantly thinking, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I have so much school to do, I have no time. But I stand here today to discuss why it is okay to be bored and how we should go about these moments of boredom. So my main point is that boredom leads to opportunities, no matter how great or small it may be. And in order to understand how boredom leads to opportunities, we must reflect on how we view boredom. And the way that we view boredom stems back to how we lived our childhood days. So generally, in the last 20 years, how common were the iPhones, iPads, laptops, PlayStations? Obviously not as popular as in the recent years. Instead, me and you, I'm sure, we had our parents tell us, be creative, imagine, in whatever shape or form you can muster. And so we did. I remember personally, as a kid, I could turn the very cardboard box into a pirate ship, into a fort, the very dirt in my yard into a teeming kingdom of plastic animals. The playground, that was my castle, that was a ninja obstacle course. These are just mere examples of how kids exercise their wild imaginations and their ability to think outside the box to conquer this boredom. But as we grow up and develop, so does technology. Maturing to adolescence brings the presence of a smartphone and everyday technologies to the tips of our fingers. We find ourselves in this limbo of less bored because these privileges come with the liberties of playing games whenever you want, texting your friends whenever we want, scrolling on social medias whenever we want. We rarely find ourselves in situations where we are truly at rock bottom bored. Specifically, teens in this generation, me included, we've all experienced mindlessly scrolling through social media whenever we're not feeling productive, because our phones have become this easy getaway cure for this boredom. But on the flip side, we're literally watching others enjoy their time and live their lives to the fullest when we could be doing the same for ourselves. Because boredom gives us the chance to go out and try new things that you normally would have hesitated to do otherwise. It gives us the chance to escape from the vicious cycle of countless hours of the day to just take care of what is most important, our own well-being. So how does this apply to our real lives? Well, for me, story time, there was this day, this rather unforgettable, unimportant, boring day. After school, I was doing some homework, practicing violin, procrastinating as usual, when I got this text from my dad, and it said, "There's a speaker event at the middle school. You should go listen, Mia." And obviously, my initial reaction was not jumping up in the air with pure joy, but was met with some hesitance. But something in me told me that I should go. Perhaps it was a natural fear of missing out on something important. So I said yes, and I went. Now, I'm not going to go into details of what the speech was actually about, but it did leave an impact on me on how I should be a better person for myself and how I should view life in a different light. What was more important for me was that I realized it was my lack of interest at home that drove me to go out and seek these possibilities that were just waiting for me. It took my mind this mental push to go out for the initiative. But the state of being bored not only affects of what we do as an individual, but how we can treat those that we hold dearest to our hearts. So a few months ago, it was during a time period where there was a lot of schoolwork, there was a lot of tests back-to-back and competitions. I was very busy. Every day was bio homework, math homework, English, whatever you can think of. And one night, my little brother, he asked, Mia, do you want to watch this movie with me? This movie, it was a kid's movie, it's called The Nut Job, a free YouTube movie, and something in my brain told me, no, you should not, because you have so much work to do. But my heart told me that I should. So I said yes. But as the movie progressed, I kept thinking that I should be more productive, and I had succumbed to my bad habits of checking my phone for texts and notifications so frequently that my little brother said this. He said, Sissy, stop watching your phone and focus on a movie. And when he said that, something in me felt that really deep. And so I turned off my phone and I watched the rest of the movie with him by my side. It turned out to be a really cool movie, and I do recommend you guys check it out. But what was more amazing for me was how I could take a small part of my day to make his a little brighter. And so the way that I perceive this situation is a prime example of how boredom can live up to its negative connotation. I was harboring this negative mindset that I should be doing schoolwork, and watching a kid's movie was simply not worth my time and effort. But then, after my brother said this comment, it made me realize just how important these small moments can influence the younger generation. Simply put, we take these moments for granted. I took that opportunity to hang out with my brother for granted, because only when I am bored that I truly do have time to hang out with him. And now, since I am a little older now, I come to appreciate that the biggest of the joys that I feel really do come from the connections that I've made and preserved with my family and friends. On a larger scale, winning a huge competition is nice. It really is nice. But winning a round of cards late at night with your family is a different level of comfort that makes up for all of the work that I have to finish later. Because those memories are priceless. So circling back to the idea that boredom leads to opportunities, this philosophy can be depicted even in the oldest of myths. You see, a few months ago at dinner, my dad said that. He said, in Chinese mythologies, the gods descended from heaven and played with the human world, all because they were bored. And in such perspective, what he said is true. These stories, they came alive from these people's imagination. They stem from the very motive that anything is possible if you just give it enough thought. And so when he said this to me, it got me thinking, when one is bored, one has the chance to go out and do new things. So don't be like Zeus, because we know what he did in his free time, but go out and strive to do something new, as that is where our power lies. And in theory, there's an infinite amount of possibilities, but in reality, as a high schooler, we're so swamped in everyday activities such as school, extracurricular, sports, competitions, relationships. We forget the sense of slowing down. We forget how to breathe. So breathe. Take a deep breath and live from moment to moment. Not by week or month by month, just every moment. So such as the next time your parents says they're going grocery shopping, picking up a sibling, tag along. Next time you're sitting on a bus, on a car, turn off your phone, look out the window, strike up a conversation. Even with things such as grocery shopping, growing up, my parents always took me to stores such as Costco, Trader Joe's, Walmart. And every time I go, I do look forward to some aspects of it, because I know that every experience will be different. From people that I see, just scenarios that I witness, every time I take in a multitude of information whenever I have the opportunity to go out. And so, with all that being said, slack off from studying. I'm not saying to override your necessities for fun. I'm simply saying, taking 20 minutes out of your day to go out for a walk, to start the book that you bought 2 weeks ago, to try a new recipe, to play with your pets, that 20 minutes of your day will not alter the course of your life forever. It is so minuscule compared to the grand scheme of things. However, when we come to appreciate these small pockets of joy, I think we all can find life a little more bearable. And so, my final pieces of thoughts revolve around this one quote said by Steve Maraboli. It said, "Although time seems to fly by, it never travels faster than one day at a time." And it's true. Boredom's greatest strength is granting us the power to enjoy the beauty of everyday life. To seek the little moments you look forward to every day, if it's reading a book, playing hoops with a sibling, whatever it may be, those little moments will add up all together to form a full and rich life. And just like how you find time to do all your extracurriculars in school, I hope you find time to just be exposed to the world, and you will find your true self.